Steelers shock the NFL, why the Mike McCarthy hire feels like a step back. After nearly 2 decades of stability, tradition, and continuity, the Pittsburgh Steelers have officially entered unfamiliar territory, and honestly, uncomfortable territory. 3 weeks ago, Mike Tomlin stepped away from the organization, closing the chapter on one of the most consistent coaching runs in NFL history. And instead of staying true to their long-standing identity, the Steelers made a move that stunned much of the league. They hired Mike McCarthy. At 62 years old, McCarthy is now the oldest head coach hire in Steelers franchise history, which alone should raise eyebrows, especially for a team that has had only 3 head coaches since 1969. That's not a typo. In over half a century, Pittsburgh has employed just Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. That level of stability is unheard of in professional sports. And every one of those hires followed a very specific blueprint. Chuck Noll built the dynasty. 4 Super Bowls. Defensive dominance. Physical football. Culture over flash. Bill Cowher followed that same mold. Toughness, accountability, blue-collar football, even though his background was special teams. He upheld the Steelers' identity and brought home another Lombardi trophy. Then came Mike Tomlin, a young defensive coordinator from Minnesota. A fresh face, but still cut from the same cloth. He never had a losing season in Pittsburgh. Not one. For 17 straight years, the Steelers were competitive. They mattered. And now, for the first time in franchise history, Pittsburgh has broken that mold completely. Before we dive deeper, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We're pushing toward 10,000 subscribers, and your support truly means everything. This hire breaks every Steelers tradition. For the first time ever, the Steelers hired an offensive-minded head coach, and not a rising star, not a young innovator, not someone with a modern, forward-thinking system. They hired a veteran, someone whose best coaching years may already be behind him. That alone makes this move feel strange. But what makes it even stranger is that there were better fits available. Brian Flores was already in the building. He understood the culture. He knew the locker room. He had credibility with players. And he's widely considered one of the best defensive minds in football. Many analysts argue he's the best defensive coordinator in the league. If not Flores, then Chris Shula from the Rams made perfect sense, a young defensive coordinator from one of the most innovative staffs in the NFL, and the grandson of Don Shula. And for those who don't know, Don Shula once recommended that Dan Rooney hire Chuck Noll. That worked out pretty well. And then there was Anthony Weaver, high energy, respected, proven, and someone who already interviewed with Pittsburgh twice. These weren't long shots. These were legitimate candidates. Instead, the Steelers went with Mike McCarthy. Is Mike McCarthy a bad coach? No. But that's not the point. Let's be clear. This is not about calling Mike McCarthy a bad football coach. He's not. His resume looks impressive on paper. 13 seasons in Green Bay. A Super Bowl ring. Consistent regular season success. A key role in developing Brett Favre late in his career. A major hand in drafting and grooming Aaron Rodgers into one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And ironically enough, that Super Bowl victory came against the Pittsburgh Steelers themselves, with Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin on the other sideline. But the story doesn't stop there. Things eventually unraveled in Green Bay. Then McCarthy went to Dallas, where expectations were sky high. 5 seasons with the Cowboys produced a respectable 49-35 record, but just one playoff win. And that one playoff win came against a Buccaneers team that was clearly falling apart in Tom Brady's final season. More often than not, Dallas was one and done under Mike McCarthy. And when you zoom out, what you're really getting is the offensive version of Mike Tomlin. Strong regular seasons, disappointing playoff exits, and schemes that eventually become predictable. That's the problem. This hire doesn't elevate Pittsburgh. It maintains the status quo. And the status quo hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. The ownership angle makes this worse. This move becomes even more concerning when you look at who's really making decisions now. Dan Rooney personally hired Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. He was the soul of the franchise. He embodied stability, patience, and vision. Sadly, he passed away in 2017, and since then, things haven't felt the same. Kevin Colbert is gone. Omar Khan is now the general manager. And that's where this hire starts to make more sense, but not in a good way. Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy go all the way back to 2000, when Khan was a scout with the Saints and McCarthy was their offensive coordinator. They traveled together, they worked closely, they built a relationship. So when reports surfaced about heavy interest in McCarthy, I immediately raised an eyebrow. This doesn't feel like a vision-based hire. It feels like a comfort hire. McCarthy's offense hasn't aged. Well, yes, Mike McCarthy once developed elite quarterbacks, but that was in a very different NFL. Defenses today are faster, smarter, more disguised, more complex. And when you look at McCarthy's recent work, his offenses haven't kept up. In Dallas, Dak Prescott's units became predictable. When defenses took away the quick game and applied pressure, everything stalled. We saw the same thing happen late in Rodgers' Green Bay years. Once timing routes were disrupted and protection broke down, the offense had no answers. Now the Steelers are trying to reconnect the McCarthy-Rodgers partnership. Except it's 2026, and Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old. He's not elite anymore. He's not top 10. He's probably not even top 15. When protected and throwing on rhythm, he can still function. But when pressure arrives and underneath routes disappear, he struggles badly. We saw it against Seattle, against the Chargers, Buffalo, Cleveland, and again in the playoffs. This is not a division where that works. The AFC North is still brutal. Baltimore remains elite defensively. Cincinnati still has Joe Burrow. Cleveland is chaotic, but chaos doesn't automatically make Pittsburgh contenders. Meanwhile, the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in a decade. It's now 2026. That's not a slump. That's a pattern. And instead of addressing the root cause, Pittsburgh doubled down on familiarity. The Steelers are trapped in the middle art. Rooney has made it clear. He doesn't believe in rebuilding, only retooling. That philosophy has locked this franchise into NFL purgatory. They're never bad enough to land franchise quarterbacks. They're never bad enough to draft elite blue-chip talent, but they're also never good enough to seriously contend. They live in the late teens and early 20s of the draft, the worst place to be in professional sports. That's where franchises slowly fade into irrelevance. The roster doesn't match the vision. Look at the offense. DK Metcalf is still a true number one receiver. Explosive, physical, dominant. But beyond him, aging veterans, inconsistent depth, short-term fixes. And now the Steelers are flirting with catering to Aaron Rodgers by bringing in his former teammates. The same mistake the Jets made. Why build around a quarterback who won't be here in 2 years? And the same logic applies to Mike McCarthy. He's 62. There's no 5-year plan. There's no decade-long vision. This is temporary construction, not foundational building. Even the defense, the pride of this franchise, is aging. Cam Hayward could retire at any moment. TJ Watt is still great but expensive and no longer dominant on every snap. Patrick Queen likely won't be back. The secondary is unsettled. This team doesn't need nostalgia. It needs a reset. Better options were right there. And that's what makes this hire even more frustrating. If Pittsburgh wanted a fence, they had access to the Shanahan and McVay coaching trees, Clint Kubiak, Nate Scheelhaase, and other innovative minds who emphasize adaptability, trench play, motion-based schemes, and modern quarterback development. The Steelers didn't even interview some of them. That tells you everything. This wasn't about innovation. This wasn't about evolution. This wasn't about building for the future. This was about safety. This feels like fear, not strategy. This hire feels driven by fear. Fear of rebuilding, fear of bottoming out, fear of starting over. So instead, Pittsburgh chose familiarity, comfort, a recognizable name. Maybe they win 10 or 11 games. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs. On paper, it'll look fine. But when January arrives, we've seen this movie before, and the ending never changes. Why this move? Hurts more than it should. That's what makes this so disappointing. It's not that the Steelers took a big swing and missed. It's that they never really swung at all. In a league built on speed, creativity, innovation, and evolution, Pittsburgh chose comfort over courage. They passed on youth. They passed on upside. They passed on long-term vision. That mindset might keep them relevant on Sundays, but it doesn't win championships in January. The rest of the NFL is building forward. The Steelers are clinging to the past. And until that changes, this franchise will stay exactly where it is. Good enough to matter, not good enough to win. Final thoughts. I want the Steelers to succeed, but based on recent history, roster construction, organizational philosophy, and what Mike McCarthy has been over the last decade, this hire simply doesn't add up. Let me know what you think about the move in the comments. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. And if you like this breakdown, smash that like button.